Welcome back to Greenlight Cinema. I'm Brandon. It's so nice to have you back on my show and good to see you guys. Well, I just watched WandaVision episode 3, now in color. And it was pretty great. I liked it. I didn't love it. It was an interesting story. Well, it's about really her having, them having their children. Or they think it's just a baby. She just keeps getting like more and more pregnant as the episode goes. It's so insane. It's like from one scene she's just a few months along, then 6 months, then 9 months, having twins. They remind me of like Revenge of the Sith almost in some odd way. It was like they gotta keep it secret. And she's pregnant and she thinks she's only carrying one baby, but oh nope, she's actually carrying 2 babies. The similarities there, I tell you. So yeah, it starts out with them in their house with the doctor, and he's just telling them the normal things, what to expect, and it doesn't seem to appear as if they're gonna have anything but just, a boy, I think is what they're like thinking. As he's seeing the doctor out, I knew this was gonna come back up. The doctor said he's going on vacation to Bermuda, someplace. He's going someplace, but he can't ever really get there, and it's kind of spoilers. And as he's going out the door with their nice redecorated house, double doors, very 70s, loved it. I loved it. It reminded me of Fargo season 2. I don't know if I've ever talked about that on Greenlight Cinema. I love Fargo, especially season 2 with Jeffrey Donovan, my Twitter buddy. He goes outside, he sees the doctor off, and everything's cool. Well, he sees Herb, and Herb is just like cutting a wall down. He's like, think you're getting a little too much on the hedges there, Herb? And he's like, yeah. And just kind of like still drilling into the wall, and it's like, oh, okay. And like Vision doesn't really say or do anything. He's like, well, better get back to Wanda then. And he comes in the door, and she's like way more like pregnant than she was. Like she's like 6 months along now. Wants to cut to they're working in the baby's room, and it's really interesting. We see her doing her little bewitchy, or I guess it's just, I'm gonna not say that anymore because she's a witch. She's just doing these like little powers, and she's moving the bed and making the baby's crib and everything. It was very neat, and he's just kind of taking it all in and reading it. Speed read. That's another thing. I'll get into that. He's got a new power in this I've never seen before. I thought it was very interesting. There, he's like, oh my gosh, you're getting even more pregnant. And he's trying to calculate it, and she's like, well, by the time you get done calculating it, I'm going to be done having this baby. Which is funny to me. It's like, you're going to be giving birth in 2 days. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on?
Well, in fairness, darling, the baby is approximately 9 months early.
And so cut to now we're in the dining room, and he's like doing the diaper change, and he's like doing like, fast or whatever, and then she's like, well, you beat your new time. But she's like, I think I'm actually about to have the baby. My water just broke because it just rained on us, and it's like that Truman Show element, because it's like that rain scene where it's only raining on him, it's just only raining on them. But I guess it was raining on everyone in Westview though. But Wanda's pregnant emotions and everything she's experiencing is like coming to life. So it's kind of funny how all this is like playing out. It's like all the, like everything that she's feeling. She says she felt butterflies or kicking, and then it's like, oh, the butterflies come to life. And so the house is just like kind of going haywire. Like, and I mean, all the houses in Westview are going just like nuts. All the kitchen appliances start going haywire, and they're like, whoa, what was that? Do you think it was me? Let me go check on the neighbors. Like, she's like, am I causing that? Do you think the neighbors know that I'm doing this? And we get this little genuine moment from them. And he's like, Wanda, do you think any of this is strange to you? He's like, our date night with the hearts. She didn't see this though, but he was talking about like just outside of her. It's so much exposition with no detail or answer. It's the most frustrating thing. It's like you have to keep watching. But that scene where he's asking her this just gets rewinded and cuts over, and then like they're just laughing in the background, and he's like, this is good. We have no idea what we're in for, and we're just, happy as we can be. And it's like, disregard all that, exposition that we've thrown at you about, you know, who are we and what's going on here? How did all this happen? How did we get here? I don't know. I thought that was odd in itself. He's like, I'm gonna go leg it to the doctor. And this is that power I'm talking about. He just like speed runs or speed walks. And it's like, it's really crazy. We see it like 3 times, I think, in this. I'm just got to keep watching this, see where it goes. It's very fascinating. But this is a different episode, or it feels like a different show, definitely from the first 2. It's very different, very interesting. I love the colors. Rich on the colors. Like, you know, like, we got to really tune it up. You know, we only gave them black and white for 2 episodes. I like the quaint little world of, you know, them just being the happy couple or whatever. But I can tell we're breaking that ground now. And we're getting into the real world with superheroes. You know, the real stuff like Snyder makes, you know.
Sorry, guys. I didn't bring a sword.
Snyder cut. Who's watching that this week? Alright. Alright. I'm not gonna judge you. I'm just gonna sit here and look at you. Maybe even drink this coffee and watch it myself. I'll probably tell you how terrible it is the next day. I'm hoping this coffee's gonna calm me down. This scene is so intense. Gosh, he makes noises. One neat little detail I almost left out. They have like a little thing, kind of like, well, I want him to be named Tommy. Well, I want him to be named Billy. See, Wanda wants Tommy because it's all American, she says. And then Vision wants Billy because of William Shakespeare. And someone else's name, I forgot. But it's really sweet because when, you know, the first child comes, he's like, yeah, he'll be Tommy. And she's like, Tommy? And he's like, yes. And it's just kind of sweet that they came to that little compromise, I thought. So I'm assuming the other one's named Billy. I don't think they said his name, but if they did, I might have missed it because this episode, I feel like it's just like you blinked and you missed it. So he's off to get the doctor, which feels like it takes way longer than it should have because the doctor never leaves or whatever, and I'll get back into that. But just as the time Vision leaves, Geraldine's like, oh wow, I'm having water problems. I need a bucket, not for an outfit. Pipe's busted. I was like, what a wacky, weird line. But I know this is a sitcom, but it's just getting like borderline weird now because I remember one thing in this episode, they kept saying, you're so strong. Like that is just the one word that's like pounded in there so much. Like strong. Like what is this a reference to? Or I don't know. It's like my brain don't want to overthink it really. I just was enjoying this episode, honestly. It was kind of, you know, that little simple episode of we're about to have a baby. Oh my gosh, all the things that can happen and go wrong because she's a witch and he's an AI superhero. But so yeah, it's got all the wacky makings of a great comedy sitcom. Cut to Hydra Soap, another odd commercial amongst the many weird commercials.
Hydra Soap. Find the goddess within.
But yeah, we had some Hydra Soap for that Hydra bath that you just need, ladies. I don't know, after watching all these episodes, I have to say this after I've analyzed this some. I really like Vision, and he's got a character flaw that, gosh darn it, I had the same thing, but I'm not a superhero, so I just look like a terrible jerk. He's very forgetful, and I love that about him because it makes him all the more human and very relatable. And for an AI sophisticated superhero, I don't mean to keep saying that, but you just wouldn't think he would have these problems. So Geraldine is now at Wanda's house. Wanda's trying to distract her with like a vase, a coat, all these different type of things. None of it's like working. I mean, it's kind of working, but I think Geraldine's like kind of seeing through. She already kind of, I think, knows what's going on. And it's like she's just there at the right time to assist Wanda. And but she does a really good job and everything, but it gets really strange. Like, they go into the nursery after the various distractions with the stork. I thought that was very now I will say again, that was bewitchy right there. That would be like something that happened to Samantha, because we would see her doing these like weird eyes and like, oh, you don't say, while she's talking to Geraldine and like trying to distract Geraldine to make sure this stork wasn't gonna like attack her. I think the stork's trying to get Geraldine out of there and say like, hey, your baby's coming. But it just happens, and her house goes haywire. Like, it's like something, I don't even know, like fire's coming out of the fireplace, the picture's spinning. Geraldine walks past all this and is just like, yeah, not fazed at all by it. It's like, okay. So that already made me feel like she already knows something's up. Vision gets there to the doctor, and he's like, Mr. Vision, is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, he's like, well, Wanda's having the baby, let's go now. And just speed runs again. And it's like, wait, does he have her brother's powers? He's like the Quicksilver guy now. He's like, I mean, the way it looks is just crazy. But cut to before Vision can get there, if my memory serves me correct, she does have one of the twins. And it's awesome. Like I said to Geraldine's there conveniently. She's like, wow, you're pregnant? That's pretty cool. Well, let me assist you in this since you're going ahead and having labor. And it was like, oh, wow, this couldn't be more odd. I think I really laughed actually out loud at her giving birth. Because, like, the face is... was just like really bizarre. I just expected like overdubbing of her like voice, like something like crazy, but I'm like, maybe they didn't want to freak the audience out too bad. I don't know. It was very goofy. Vision and the doctor do get there, and just like the nick of time, well, just about right in time. He missed like his birth of their first child, but it's a really cool moment because Geraldine kind of pulls the doctor aside and is like, hey, doctor, let's go in the kitchen. And when that happens, like, they're able to have their own little moment as a family. And she's like, don't you want to introduce your son to your, true self? And I was like, whoa, what if someone walks in? But, like, apparently they're not afraid of this, which is cool. And we do have that little moment. And then all of a sudden she screams to the second child, and the cut to the doctor's like, well, 20 toes and 20 fingers. Y'all got 2 healthy baby boys and everything looks good. And Vision's like, well, I'm going to walk you out, doctor. And as he walks him out, is the most bizarre thing. He was like, well, have such a hard time, though, leaving this town. He's like, no one ever really gets out, or something like that, to that effect. And Vision's kind of puzzled by it, as are we. Cut to, we see Agnes and Herp, and they're like kind of congregating over there by a corner, like right where Herp was like cutting down their wall. And he's like, hey, what's going on? What y'all talking about or doing? I'm not saying exactly like, how Vision says it. Agnes and Herp are like, we're doing good, Vision. How are you? Is Geraldine in y'all's house? And he's like, yeah, why? And they're like, well, and they never really get around to saying it was the most irritating thing, and I knew they weren't going to do it too. I was like, they're just going to let this build, like the suspense. And they're like, well. Something's a little weird about her. I mean, she don't have no family, nowhere to come. She just kind of came out of nowhere, just popped out of nowhere, has no family or anything. Vision's like, I don't have a problem with any of this. What you guys' deal? Meanwhile, we see Geraldine, and I guess she got really overly comfortable with her surroundings because maybe she's an undercover operative for the FBI. I'm not really sure. I'm skipping ahead to spoilers, but what happens is Geraldine, she goes, wow, this is really cool. You are strong. We hear that again. I was like, oh, wow. It's just so weird how they just keep enforcing that. Wanda, she's just in all the kids, She goes, I had a twin. And Geraldine, when I'm talking about, she gets comfortable and she's like, yeah. She's like, Pietro, he was killed. Or she says Pietro first. Wanda says Pietro. And then Geraldine goes, wasn't he killed by Ultron? And it was like, what? We're in the 70s. That event hasn't happened yet, so we think. While all this is still going on, she's like, you need to leave. And she almost sounds kind of like her Sarkovian. She's singing to the kids in Sarkovian, and then she starts sounding Sarkovian a little bit and then loses the accent. Goes and does this, she's like, you need to leave, to Geraldine. And she's like, Wanda, you know, what's up? You know, like, she's like, Wanda, let me take care of the kids or help you out with the kids. And she's like, no, you need to leave. Because she's like, I don't know, she's like bringing up something that they've like erased or tried to erase out of her mind. Like, is this all an illusion for Wanda to be saying? Because she just, you know, seemed like that was a trigger. But this Geraldine is like gone. Like, Vision comes in the door and's like,
Where's Geraldine?
She had to rush home.
like, where'd Geraldine go? And she's like, oh, she had to leave in a hurry. I was like, oh, okay. Where'd she leave to? I mean, he didn't say that, but it's kind of like, you know, where could she have went? And then cut to, all we see is just this like little hole and opening in the dark and nighttime, and then Geraldine's like falling. And it's no longer the 70s, I know, because it's like helicopters from 2020 or 21 and like SUVs and everything from the FBI. It was like, oh, wow. I'm like, so this has been a cover-up. My whole thing is, like, if this has been a cover-up, what if Tony Stark, before he died, knew that Wanda would get, like, out of hand if they couldn't save Vision? You know, the best parts of them, like Banner mentioned. So what if he made this type of safe compound like he did in Civil War, and it's like Vision is not really a real person? I don't know. These are just like a little theory I popped in my mind. I know it's probably not even like real. It could be. I don't know. I don't want to read these articles or these things. They'll just ruin it for me. I don't know. It all looks very sad. I don't like the sadness of it. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my review and discussion on this. And if you guys haven't already, I hope you will please like and subscribe to my channel. And continue to follow me on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm always, like I said, letting people know what I'm doing. Alright guys, thanks. Bye.